Hi guys, it's Joe Sayabeni again here on my YouTube channel, Access Not Denied, with another presidential polling update. So, this one might be an interesting one. So, let's get to it. All right, guys. So, when I'm filming this, it's September 16th, 2020, and this is my presidential poll update. And I think we're gonna have some interesting things to talk about. Finally for the polling, and I'm gonna take you to my screen in just a little while. But finally, I'm seeing numbers change. All right, so let me get to my screen, and we'll take it from there. All right, guys, I'm on my screen now. So when I started thinking about this polling video, doing the presidential polling video, it was during the start or around the start of the Democrat and Republican national conventions, and I I did a snippet, or I took a snippet of Real Clear Politics around the time of the Democrat National Convention, which was August 17th to August 20th. And during that time, I said to myself, well, maybe I'll do a video. Let's see what happens. I'll watch the convention, both conventions, and maybe I'll do a video about polling, whether the pollings move or not. But at the time of the Democrat National Convention, around August 19th, the Real Clear Politics average was Biden plus 7.6. So Biden was leading in the polling during roughly the week of the Democrat National Convention. So I said, okay, let's see what happens um, when the Republican National Convention comes around. So I did a video, uh, and then the Republican National Convention came around, and that was the week of the 24th of August, and I then did a video and looked at the Real Clear Politics average around the time of the Republican National Convention, and I was surprised to see that Biden was only up in the polling 6.2 points. And I was thinking to myself, oh, maybe the president increased his polling average because of the convention. And that's what I was thinking. I thought maybe there was a pattern that was starting to occur. So then I watched both conventions, and then I kept paying attention, did another video, and noticed that the Biden was starting to lead again. So on September 4th, 2020, Biden, according to the Real Clear Politics average, was starting to lead again right after the Republican National Convention ended, roughly. And I was like, okay, so the president really didn't gain anything. Maybe there's something really going on here. Maybe the polling is correct that Biden's a strong candidate against the president, right? So I started thinking to myself, maybe these numbers are not going to work out for the president. Well, let's fast forward to now on September 16th. And look what we notice here. Biden only plus 5.9. All of a sudden, the president is starting to pull closer and closer to Biden, to Joe Biden. So, what's going on here? Maybe there is enthusiasm for the president. Maybe it's starting to happen a little bit later than it happened in 2016 against Hillary Clinton. Um, you know, Of course, I'm going to keep doing these videos, but now I started getting curious here. Let's see how these numbers change next week. But one thing I wanted to mention was Rasmussen took a poll of Trump's approval rating. And according to Rasmussen's poll, President Donald Trump's job approval rating has hit a 6-month high. 52% in total approve of President Trump. And I thought to myself, well, how did it look like last year before the pandemic or before any issues with the riots or the protesters or the pandemic? So I went back in history on Rasmussen, and I went back, and here's his 52% total approval, right? But if we go all the way back, I'm looking for a 52, even a 51, all the way back. And you'll see there's a 52 in February, right? So that's the 6 months. So February, roughly when the pandemic started here in the country, or was, mentioned here in the country. So the president is back up to 52 as an approval rating. That's another interesting thing going on here. I don't know. So let's see what Real Clear Politics has for the tough, the swing states. So let's go here, and we're going to go battleground states on Real Clear Politics, and we'll go to, let's see, we'll go to the Wisconsin, for example, right? Trump versus Biden. Biden's still leading 6 points, 6.7. All right, and it looks like, according to these polls, that, and on these statewide polls, I look at CNN, I look at Emerson, of course I look at Rasmussen, right, and I also look at this little graph, and what it's showing is that Biden's pretty strong at this state here. Let's see if this stays. And he's been kind of, moving up while the president has gone down. So let's see what happens here next week. All right, this is Wisconsin. Florida. Let's go to Florida. This is interesting. This is getting interesting for the president. Notice the swing up for the president, right? It's almost a tie here. And actually, let me see if they have Rasmussen. They don't have Rasmussen here, but this Florida Atlantic University, which I don't know anything about, has as a tie. NBC News Marist has as a tie. And Trafalgar, I never could say that one, has it as Trump +3. This is supposedly a right-leaning or Republican-leaning polling company. All right, so Biden plus 1.6. So let's see how this goes next week. Let's go to Michigan. Biden plus 4.2. Rasmussen has it as Biden +3. Trafalgar has it as Trump +2. I'm very curious about this group here to see if, this is really, I don't know how they do their polling, but I think they really are right-leaning. But I'm curious when the election comes around how they are looked at. So let's see how the graph looks. And it looks like the president was trying to make a little rally here and then kind of went off the rails a bit. All right, but still, this is getting closer, as you could see. It is getting closer. Right? Now, Pennsylvania. Biden plus 4.3. The president's starting to move up while Biden's starting to move down. Is there something going on here? Again, these polling data, they poll, maybe they poll 3,000 people, likely voters, on all this stuff. But this tells me that the president is making a run here in Pennsylvania. So we'll see what happens next week. Uh, North Carolina, Biden. It's almost a tie here in North Carolina. So that's and the president was really behind August 4th. All of a sudden he's rallying up here. So something's going on in this polling data here in North Carolina. Arizona, I checked this before. It looks like Biden was making a move here. The president made a little slight here, but Biden looks like he has a comfortable lead here. But we shall see. And that's it, I think, on these swing states. Right? But, what I'm thinking here is something is going on. Maybe the election's getting closer. People are really deciding. Maybe it's the continued protesting, or maybe the pandemic. I don't know, but I'm going to get off my screen right now, and we'll summarize it all up. All right, guys, back on my camera here. So things are starting to happen in this polling stuff with with Joe Biden versus President Donald Trump, and let's see how it goes next week. I'm very curious if the data gets better for the president. I will say this, just like I think I said in my other video, my last video on this. I think that it can only do good for the president if a stimulus package gets passed before the election, and even around the election area, if a vaccine for the pandemic, for the coronavirus, uh, comes into fruition around the election. I think it can only get better for the president when it comes to this polling. Now, what that means for the election, we don't know. November 3rd is election day. We'll know hopefully that day. But let's see. I'm curious again next week. I hope you guys like these videos. Of course, if you do, like, subscribe, share, comment. Let that algorithm work for this channel. Access not denied. And also, you can always follow me on my main channel, Joe Sal Yimbeni. And that's it. So I'm going to say goodbye, guys, until the next presidential poll video. Goodbye.